What's up, my dear friend? And bem-vindo, seja bem-vinda ao episódio 5 do Agora Eu Falo Podcast. Esse episódio está repleto de coisas legais. Para começar, é o desfecho da minha viagem da Argentina. Você vai saber como aconteceu. Você vai ter acesso ao transcript, a transcrição. E ao final, eu tenho uma surpresa para você. Check it out!
Welcome to the Agora Eu Falo Podcast, where you learn English in a way you'll never forget. And now, your host, the craziest English teacher from Brazil, Leonardo Leite.
All right, my dear friend, and welcome to one more episode. This is episode number 5. And on this episode, I'm going to tell you the end of the story of the adventure of my trip to Mendoza in the middle of the coronavirus situation. Well, if you haven't checked the previous episode number 4, which I recorded in Mendoza, right in the middle of the trip. So check it out. Go there and listen to that episode. I believe you're gonna love it. Sabe por quê? Porque neste episódio 4, eu descrevi toda a viagem e tudo, e você tem a transcrição, cara. Você tem a transcrição para acompanhar a minha fala junto com a leitura. Isso é um excelente exercício, ok? Não é só esse exercício que vai fazer você melhorar, mas é uma excelente prática. Por que eu digo isso? Porque tem outras coisas que você tem que fazer também durante o seu English Training. Mas aqui no podcast nós vamos colocar de tudo. E esta prática is really fun, porque você pode ouvir com a transcrição, sem a transcrição, and practice your English listening and also reading, of course, right? E para você verificar todos os episódios do podcast, é simples. Se você está no Apple Podcast, ou Spotify, ou Deezer, até mesmo no Google Podcast, você vai ver todos os episódios aí, não tem problema nenhum. Se você está ouvindo este podcast no meu website ou no meu blog, então você, dentro aí do blog, você pode entrar www.agoraeufalo.com/blog/podcast e o número do episódio. Se você não colocar nenhum número do episódio, pode só colocar podcast ou blog, você vai ver todos os episódios lá. Alright? E olha, não deixe de escrever o seu comentário lá no blog para eu saber se você está gostando ou não. E se você está escutando este podcast no seu agregador de podcast, dê lá o seu rating, avalie este podcast, porque ajuda muito o Agora Eu Falo Podcast a aparecer para outras pessoas around the world. Alright? Good. So, as I was saying in this episode, I'm going to describe the last day of my trip during this crazy coronavirus situation, right? And so, last Tuesday, and I believe that last Tuesday was exactly the day I recorded episode 4. So last Tuesday, I told you how we got there, right? And how we were told about the problems and everything. So now I'm going to tell you what happened after that Tuesday. On that Tuesday, we went to the airline office in Mendoza. And when we got there, we were told we might have quarantine in Chile. So we decided to take a direct flight from Mendoza to São Paulo. We didn't want to stay in Santiago do nothing because we were told that everything was closed, all the stores and everything in the city was closed. The city was being shut down, as I said in the previous episode. So we were afraid of having to stay there for 1 or 2 weeks, and paying for a place to stay and doing nothing. So we decided that we had to fly direct to São Paulo. So remember, that was Tuesday, and the only available direct flight would be on the following Friday, March 20th. So we took it. We booked the tickets. And then we went back to the hotel and booked 4 more nights. Well, we were supposed to stay 4 more nights in Santiago. So we didn't really mind staying 4 more nights or 3 more nights in Mendoza. Even that would even be a little cheaper because the hotel in Santiago would be more expensive anyway. And we were kind of excited too because we thought we would still be able to visit a few vineyards that hadn't canceled reservations. At least their restaurants hadn't canceled yet. So we settled things in the hotel and drove to a restaurant in one of the vineyards. In the car, I realized that the Argentinians were taking things quite seriously. Very, very few people on the streets, few cars on the roads. And when we got to the restaurant, the manager came to the door to see us and told us he couldn't take us. We looked inside and there were quite a few people eating and having fun at the tables. Our friend got angry with the situation. But the manager explained that the authorities had just been there prohibiting the entrance of any customer from that time on. And I said, oh shit, this is getting really, really serious. So we went back to the hotel and had lunch there. Now, this part is interesting. The hotel closed all the facilities, such as swimming pool, spa, gym, all the restaurants and bars, except one for the meals, for all the meals in the hotel. By that time, I realized we were about to quarantine in the hotel in Mendoza. We still had 3 or 4 nights ahead of us and nothing to do in the city or in the hotel. We tried not to worry so much, but you know what? With internet and smartphones, we were in touch with all kinds of messages, news, fake news, opinions, suggestions, predictions, assumptions, etc., etc., etc. I got really tired with all the flood of information, good information and bad information. But you know what? The 4 of us actually had a lot of fun during those 4 days. We relaxed, we slept, we ate. I worked a little. I recorded a few podcast episodes. I recorded a video class. And you know what we did? We drank the bottles of wine we had bought to bring home. Well, we just figured we wouldn't be able to drink with our friends in Brazil. We might as well just finish them up before we leave. Right? Anyway, Friday came. We packed, left to Mendoza Airport. And by the way, the airport was closed. Yeah. The airport was closed. Well, and then what? Well, let me explain. They only allowed passengers with tickets and passports inside the airport. It was really bizarre. We got on the flight, landed in São Paulo, and everything was back to normal. Can you believe it? Back to normal. There was no health check upon entrance in the country or anything like it. Guarulhos was completely operational. Stores were open, duty-free was open, restaurants were open. But there weren't lots of people, though. And here we are, in Brazil. And now, in real quarantine, keeping safe and doing what we have to do to reduce the spread of the virus. All right, my dear friend. E então, gostou? Muito bem. Eu contei essa história, você pode voltar, escutar de novo. Não esqueça de entrar lá no blog. Eu vou deixar o link do blog aqui na descrição do podcast. E você vai poder ler esta descrição que eu fiz em inglês. E eu tenho uma notícia muito legal para você. É o seguinte, estamos todos em quarantine, right? Então, o que você acha de todos os dias encontrar comigo on the web to practice your English and have fun with me? O que você acha de encontrar comigo todos os dias da quarentena, pelo tempo que for a quarentena, pelo tempo que a gente tiver que ficar em casa? Como nós não temos mais lugar nenhum para ir, então a gente pode definir 1 horinha no dia, ou 2 horinhas, ou 3, ou 5, ou o dia inteiro on the web practicing English. Só que eu preciso que você me dê o seu aval para fazer isso. Então, se você realmente quiser que eu apareça todos os dias, tanto aqui no podcast quanto ao vivo on YouTube, deixe o seu comentário no blog. Alright? Quanto maior o número de comentários positivos com relação... você pode colocar comentários negativos também, alright? Se você não gostou do episódio do podcast, no problem. Você chega lá e fala assim, I hate it. Ok? No problem. Mas, quanto maior o número de comentários positivos relacionados a esta ideia de practice our English during quarantine, por favor, me diga que nós vamos nos divertir muito ao vivo, tanto aqui neste programa maravilhoso em áudio quanto em vídeo também on YouTube e dentro da nossa plataforma. All right? My dear friend, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, go back, listen again, practice. E mais, durante a quarantine, se você deixar, eu vou usar essas stories que estão no podcast e fazer Magic Story Practice com elas e com você. All right? My dear friend, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to leave your comment. Thank you so much, and bye now.